Next week on Thursday, Chapter 3 Popcorn. December galloped in with winter weather on its back. Christmas was around the corner. I dropped in at the office with presents for Harold and his staff. There was a colored glass tree angel for Annie, tins of assorted chocolates for George and Judith, and for the Wisemans, a sizable container shaped like an old-fashioned milk urn filled with different flavors of popcorn. I hoped the artist in Gloria would find the packaging whimsical. Dinner preparations were in full swing when the phone rang the following afternoon. Harold's voice dragged on slurred words. "What are you cooking today?" A sauce bubbled on the stove as I chopped onions and garlic with the receiver wedged between my ear and shoulder. Salmon in a filo pastry thingy," I said. I heard a chuckle. He relished the use of thingy, my daughter's favorite word, and often bandied it around himself. "Gloria loved the container. So thoughtful of you." Harold's effusion was lathered with rhapsodies about the popcorn container, which I didn't think was that special at all. He made no reference to the handcrafted housewarming gift. I squirmed inside and experienced a prickle of bitterness. My gift was of as little consequence as the basket of nuts from the office ladies. I should have purchased something more generic and predictable, like flowers. I probably realized this the moment I stepped over the threshold of the grand new abode, when Gloria's magnificent artwork stared me in the face, and my puny offering shriveled into shabby, homemade insignificance. A huge wedge hung between us, but only I was aware of it. Harold didn't have a clue. The thing grew in my head with each passing week, mutating into a nagging monster. It gnawed ceaselessly. Tired of my murmurings, David finally snapped. "If it's bothering you so much, you should talk to him about it." I couldn't. I visited the office 2 days before Christmas to discuss new developments in my case. Harold and I sat in the library. I loved the formal feel of the room. Wooden shelving lined one wall from floor to ceiling, crammed with volumes of dark leather or vinyl-bound legal tomes, their titles etched along the spines in gold leaf. A spiral fire escape-style stairway on wheels made the upper shelves accessible. Wide picture windows encompassed the wall facing the door. They looked onto the street, counteracting the somber effect of the dark wood paneling. Judicial men with hawk eyes and round eyeglasses glowered down from ornate frames. A heavy carved conference table of dark wood dominated the space. We dealt with the business at hand and lapsed into desultory conversation. Harold made a trite reference to the wretched popcorn. "Gloria attacked it right away," he said. I replied, I had a feeling the container would appeal to her. The festering sore was ready to burst. I glanced at my watch. Harold observed the gesture and leaned forward for a farewell hug. His chair rolled towards me on its casters. Unbidden resentment oozed into my voice and leapt to my lips. "You hated my pressed flowers, didn't you?" The boil was lanced. The moving chair screeched to a halt inches away from mine. The look of blank non-comprehension in his eyes turned to stricken horror. He had no chance to comment as I sped down the tracks on a runaway train. The words came fast. I wanted to do something special for you, and you didn't even have the decency to acknowledge it. Harold began to bluster, slurring badly. I was just trying to find the perfect spot for it. Maybe in the office. It's probably in the garbage by now, and I know how Annie and Judith must have felt about those wretched nuts. I went to the hall closet for my coat. He followed unsteadily and hovered behind me. George looked up from his seat at the front desk. "Thanks for the chocolates. Nice of you," he said. Buttoning up, I muttered sourly, "Next time, it'll be a potted plant." Harold reached for the phone as I turned to go, mumbling, "Where's Gloria?" I stepped outside. The door beeped as it shut behind me. David was right. It certainly helped to talk. The house phone rang around 7 o'clock in the evening. "Selena, this is Gloria Wiseman speaking." Damage control. My hackles rose ever so slightly. "Hello, Mrs. Wiseman." "Oh, do call me Gloria. I called to tell you how proud I am of you for speaking up." I experienced a needle of annoyance. David suggested I talk about it. I was driving him crazy. "It was very professionally done, and it has your signature on it." I felt patronized. "This was between Harold and me," I replied. "Oh?" Her voice climbed half an octave. I really didn't expect him to bother you with it." "Not true. I knew he would. Why wouldn't he?" "But he's just sick about it," she said. "Please don't embarrass yourself and me by saying something just because you feel you should say it." I had to put an end to the excruciating conversation. "Oh, okay." Gloria sounded taken aback. She paused for a beat, then gathered her wits and queried briskly, "Do you celebrate Christmas?" Yes, we do." "Well then, Merry Christmas." "Thank you, and Happy Hanukkah to you, Mrs. Wise." "Call me Gloria." Gloria. The line went dead. Gloria Wiseman never said thank you for the pressed flower picture. I had no idea why she called. To be continued.